Hi guys, this is the most excited I have ever been to do a light review. Just listen, can you hear that? Me either. That is one of the reasons that this is the absolute best light that money can buy, if you're me anyway, and probably you too. Let's talk about it. Now, of course, the disclosure I've got to say is that Godox did send this out for review, but they didn't contact me. I contacted them. A lot of times, because, you know, I'm a pretty big deal on YouTube, people will contact me and ask me to review certain products. But I was thinking a lot of people have been asking me about lights for the studio, what's the best thing to get. And since I am a giant Godox fan, I wrote them and I said, listen, can I review this light for my audience? I think it's the best deal out there for a studio light, and they were super cool about it, and they sent one out, and here it is, and this will be a permanent fixture in the studio going forward, 100%. All right, so I'm going to lean in real close to this light, number one, because I love it, and number two, to keep the eye autofocus on the Sony and this thing in focus. If I stay here, you guys can see both of us. Pretty, even prettier. This is the Godox UL60, and why do I already know this is the best light that I could possibly have for my studio, and maybe a lot of you too, is because right over here, my key light has been the UL150 for a full calendar year. And I don't mean I use this occasionally. Every single day, the big brother to this guy has been in my studio, blaring into my gorgeous eyes. And over here is the Godox VL150. So suffice it to say, Godox is my brand when it comes to lights for the studio as well as flashlights. Not, you know, flashlights like miners have. And I don't mean miners like young kids, like guys in a cave. Anyway, I'm talking about flashes for your camera. A lot of people know that Godox make some of the best flashes in the world. So when they got into the old chip on board game, the old COB lights, then I was all in on that, because basically the quality rivaled anyone in the world, including Aperture, the Aperture 120D Lightstorm. That was a big deal light, but the VL150 from Godox was as good or better than that light. And then when they came out with the UL150 Godox, I was blown away, because it is, and so is its little brother, a dead silent light. It has passive cooling. It has no fan. So the magic is all these things here. You see these little holes? Heat, it just disperses through these holes, no fans whirring. So your studio, if you turn your lights up on bust 100% for hours on end, the fan will never kick on. I hate fans in my studio, even if the mics don't pick them up, which they often do. It's just an annoyance to me as I sit here recording. I want to hear the dulcet tones of my vocal cords. I don't want to hear something whirring in the background. And this is not the only reason these lights are fantastic, but it is my number one reason for buying them. Silent lights in the studio. Wonderful. And another reason I love these lights is they are professional studio lights through and through. The build quality is amazing. It is almost all metal except for a little bit of plastic here on the back. They have a really strong metal yoke with the nice teeth grip fasteners. You could stick any kind of modifier on this and it's going to be fine. And this little guy has more functionality than his big brother right here. We have, on the little control panel here, we have DMX in and DMX out, as well as the plug, the power cord that goes into it. And the UL150 has this as well, but an included V-mount plate right on the back of this control panel. So you got a V-mount battery, you slap that on, you are good to go. CRI of 96, TLCI of 97. So at 100% power, this guy shoots out 31,000 looks at 1 meter, and the UL150 does about 58,000, I believe, at full power. So obviously this light is almost double the power of this guy, but the thing is, I have never turned this light on more than 20%. I bought it because it was the only high-quality silent light that was available at the time, but if this guy had been out, I certainly would have bought two of these lights. I would have put one here and one here. Instead, I paid much more money and did the UL150 and then the VL150. And since the VL150 is only usually on about 4% over here, the fan doesn't kick on, so I'm okay with that, but I definitely paid $500 each for these lights, and this guy is $299. Now, there are other 60-watt lights that are available from things like Newer, and even Godox themselves have the SL60W. Amaran has a few lights that are cheaper. There's a lot of lights out there that are cheaper than this, but there's a reason that they are cheaper than this. This thing, with its build quality, with its silent nature, with its professional features, this is a reliable light. And if you have the budget, and you should always have a good budget for lights, so $299 I think is very reasonable for this light. So if you have the budget and you don't need more power, like myself and a lot of people who have a studio situation, I think this is the best buy you can get in terms of lights for a studio. Now, if you do need more power and you are on a budget, my favorite lights are still the small rig, the 120, the RC 120. They have a bicolor version and a daylight version, and I like those lights a lot because they are not very noisy. You can still hear the fan, but it is quite quiet. And for a budget light, and they're made mostly of plastic, and the grip, you know, is not one of these nice metal yokes. It's like an Amaran or a Godox 60W where it's plastic and you don't want to put a huge modifier on it. There's all kinds of compromises when you're going for a less expensive light, and seeing how $299 for an excellent quality light, in my opinion, and probably just common sense, isn't a ton of money for this type of thing. This is my highest recommendation of any product that I've ever talked about. This is just number one. I don't know a single person that ever switched to the Godox UL line, the silent line, and ever went back. Everyone who goes with these lights says, what was I thinking with other lights? These are the lights to get. And the fact that you don't have to go with the big honking UL150 and shell out that kind of cash and get this, which is more functional, like I said, with the DMX in and out. It also has some effects that you might want to use, like a faulty bulb or lightning, things like that. I personally, I don't see any use for those type of effects, but if you're looking for them, they are in this light. You can control it by a remote control, which you could buy separately, or you can use the app. And the Godox app, you could hook up all of your Godox lights and control it via the app. It's a pretty basic app. It gets the job done, so you don't have to stand up and move around. Personally, I just love these little control panels here. I just grab it, I switch it to what I want. Oh boy, I tell you, and a great little screen. It feels great, nice knobs. Did I tell you I love the light? Now I'm going to swap him out with a UL150, and you're going to see how much bigger that light is than this little guy. Look at the size of this behemoth compared to the little guy. I'll do a split screen so that you can see the difference in the size of these lights. In fact, let's move this guy out of the way so that you can see me in all my glory. Now, don't get me wrong. If you need more power, then 100% do this. I haven't regretted this for a second. You know when you buy something and it's a little pricey, but it's just so much better than you expected that you're like, 100 times, yes, I would buy this thing again. I was going to buy two until I found out that there was a 60 version. So that is the UL60 right there. I have the modifier in roughly the same spot. I guess there may be some minor differences because I also turned the power to this guy on 26% because I had him on 13%, and I figured it's roughly about half the power. So there you go. It looks pretty similar to my eyes. Anyway, it doesn't matter if it's exactly what I had just set up. The point is, it's absolutely fantastic, and I will use it every single day. But what kind of reviewer would I be if I couldn't point out some things that could be improved? I'm sure Godox and their entire team, their board of directors, the CEO, they're sitting down with pen and paper in hand. What does Mark have to say about our light? How can we improve it? Well, a simple thing would be a carrying case. Now, this didn't come with a carrying case, and neither does the UL60. And that probably does save you a few bucks. So there may be a lot of people out there who are glad that there is no carrying case. But personally, I bring my lights around every now and again, and I would like a carrying case with it, even if it upped the price by 30 bucks or something, you know, throw in a little carrying case. I think that would be great. And also on the UL60, it has a different plug mechanism. Like this guy, he has a control panel, but he also has a power supply, and then a cord runs from that power supply into an outlet, and that means it can be a two-pronged outlet. And for me, that's better when I'm taking around extension cords. This guy has a three-pronged outlet because it doesn't come with a power brick installed next to the control panel. So it's less cords and less cumbersome, but you do need a three-pronged outlet. So I know I have to carry around a different extension cord. I guess that's not really Godox's problem, but it's hard to find negatives about this light. Oh, and the app. A lot of people like the aperture lights because of the Sidus Link app. They really enjoy using that, and I think Godox has a ways to go before their app can compete with the Sidus Link app. So once again, thanks to Godox for actually talking to me. Not everybody does that for probably some good reasons, but I wanted so much to brag about the UL60, and I'm glad I got to do it. A lot of people ask about lights. This is what I'm saying. If your budget allows it, the UL line, the 60 and the UL150, they are as good as it gets. You will not regret that decision. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment. I will be sure to answer it. I love answering the comments. I mean, this is what I do. I find my life is a little meaningless unless I'm communicating on YouTube, and I kind of wish I was joking about that, but I'm not. Anyway, we'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.